G'day folks, welcome to TROOPY Mod Stage 2. Coming up, front end facelift, rear wheel track correction, the rear table, and how we're going to cut into the body of the side. Yes, cutting into the body of the side, we're going to discuss that. And first engine mods so far, plus the two best mods you can do to any four-wheel drive in regards to capability. I turned this thing into a stealth beast. And of course folks, jump points down below if you want to skip to any part of the video. Stay tuned. You can see we now have flares on it. Now please don't ask me where I got the flares from because I cannot remember where I bought them from. I bought a whole heap of stuff on eBay lately, so unfortunately I can't remember where I got these from. These are fiberglass, they came white, I've painted them black to keep the black and white theme going. I reckon it looks fantastic. The other reason why I put these on was so I could correct the rear wheel track. Now the rear wheel track on a 70 series Land Cruiser, since they put the V8s in them back in 2000 and when was that? Anyway, on your screen. Since then, they put the V8s in, they made the front wheel track wider to accommodate for the V8, but they didn't do it to the rear. Now you probably know this already if you're a frequent follower of this channel. So there are three ways of correcting it. There is the best way, get a whole new differential in the back, which is engineered, certified, all that kind of stuff. The second best option is getting an offset rim. And also the cheapest option, which is what I've done here. 50mm negative on the back, offset rims. The front is a zero offset. What that means is it's a deeper dish rim, which means it gives you more poke. Poking out more on both sides corrects the wheel track. So now it lines up 100% dead on, dead eye dick from the front to the back. So now the wheel track follows true when you're driving off-road. The third option is wheel spacers, but I would go offset rim over wheel spacers any day of the week. I felt I needed to change it because it fishtails when you're on sand. I went as long as I could without doing it, just to see what it was like again. And yes, it fishtails, you end up crab walking. As soon as the beach is on an angle, you end up with that problem where the back wants to jump in and out of the ruts. It's quite irritating and I don't think it's very safe either. That's why I've done this. This is a temporary fix, by the way. I will do a diff upgrade later on. Another thing I've done, which is cosmetic, I reckon has added 5 horsepower, is my new grille. This is an extra large badge. This took a bit of effort to find. Toyota genuine badge. It didn't come with a grille. This is a grille from eBay. The grille cost me about 200 bucks. I got this because it looks different. I'm not too sure about it. What do you guys think? I want your opinion on it. Right now I'm going to turn the lockers off and then we can see the difference. All right, here we go. Losing traction on opposing wheels. On the front, this one's quite loose. On the back, opposite sides, quite loose. It sends power and torque to least resistance. So the wheels that are actually in contact with the ground are not doing anything. But now that we lock the lockers in, or switch them on, it's a world of difference. Torque and power is distributed evenly across all 4 wheels. This is seriously the best mod you can do to any four-wheel drive for capability. I mean, right now the front wheel on this side is off the ground. And look, you saw, without having a diff locker, this is not possible unless I give it far too much momentum. And that's when you're going to tip your vehicle over. You're going to break things, you're going to break your axles, CVs, diff lockers, front and rear. You just can't beat it. These are so instantaneous too. Why didn't I go air lockers? That is a great question and it's been asked by numerous people. And it's been asked in the past as well. What's best, e-lockers, air lockers or factory lockers? This is a workmate. It doesn't come with factory lockers. In the 79, which is the GXL, had factory lockers, so I'm not going to change those. When it comes to e-lockers versus air lockers, first of all, what is the difference? I'm at the back of opposite lock and Welsh pool, and these are the 2 lockers I've just pulled out of the box. So I'll just run you through how they actually work. So let's have a look. This is an old rear center from a Land Cruiser, just to compare. They fit a lot of these lockers here, as you can see. Plenty of empty boxes. This is from a Land Cruiser, so that's what's coming out of mine, and that's what's going in instead. So this is a Eaton Harrop locker, electromagnetic. So this bit down here is a bit that spins around. Once you activate it through power, this will then magnetize to this plate and force it to twist. Once it twists, that curve there will knock these pins up or push the pins up and activate the locker, giving you equal power and torque to both wheels forced. This is the front for the Land Cruiser, the front locker that's going in, the Harrop locker. This is a rear LSD from a Hilux. So the rear in a Hilux is the same size as the front on a Land Cruiser. There you go. Same principle here. But as you can see, the front is significantly smaller than the rear. That's how e-lockers work. Electromagnetic, instantaneous, clicks in. Now with air lockers, it relies on compressed air. It relies on a compressor. Not only do you need to pay for the diff centers, pay for an air compressor as well, get that installed. They're quite instantaneous as well, but you can get air leaks. Every single person that I know or have interviewed and modified that have had an air locker, regardless of brand, has had some issues with them. Air hose that's failed or whatnot. I've also got my own experience with air lockers. They are absolutely great when they work. I also had airline issues eventually. Therefore, I'm choosing e-lockers because there's less stuff that can go wrong with them. They're quite instantaneous, and as you can see, they bloody work well. Another benefit to lockers is the fact that you can take it nice and easy. That was first gear low. I was barely on the accelerator the whole time. It just idled through. Less risk of breaking things. I think action speaks louder than words, guys. I don't have to convince you. If you want a really capable vehicle, put some lockers in your vehicle. Which type of lockers is up to you. All right, folks, there is some really exciting stuff happening to this Troopy. It's only just begun. We are looking at cutting into the side of the Troopy, fitting out the entire inside of the Troopy as well. Cutting into a Troopy is not something that's taken lightly, right?
No, I'll be all right. What do you reckon, George?
Oh, I just chopped up a 300 series. I think this will be all right.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
We're going to chop it into a single cab, right? No.
Yeah, if you want to.
I want to chop it about here somewhere.
Yeah.
So I can flip this down as a table.
Yeah.
And an access. My jack's behind here, which I'd also like to look at maybe cutting.
Yeah.
So the question is, why on earth would anyone want to cut into the side of their Troopy just for a little bit of space? Well, here's the thing. Inside this gap here, between the panel and the inside boards, there is maybe like 150 mil at the wider sections, maybe 80 mil at the narrow sections. There's not a lot of space to gain there. However, there is a gap from the wall to the seal. There's about another 80 mil. So what I intend to do is build this out. More details that come when we actually do it. Build this out and then cut into the outside, so it leaves me with about 200 mil. I may even go even further, so I get like 250, 300 mil. That's a foot, that's a lot of space to have in there, and I can keep a lot of gear. So this side is mainly for cooking, the other side will be for equipment.
So George, what I've been thinking, we cut the side of the car out, make an aluminium insert, refabricate an aluminium door that sort of looks like the outside of the vehicle.
Yeah, same profile and all that, yeah.
And then do you reckon compression locks or?
Probably compression locks, just because the other smaller locks don't really have much adjustment in them.
Yeah, and I think because the gull wings will probably have compression locks on it as well, I'm guessing. It will match up and I think it'll look quite nice. It'll be glued and pot riveted or something into the body just to keep the strength in there as well, won't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Will this be an off-the-shelf thing, maybe?
Yes, it will be an off-the-shelf thing. I don't know if it'll be DIY, but it definitely will be an on-the-shelf item that we're planning to build. Ronny was talking about doing another hatch in this quarter panel here, because obviously the factory jack and that's there. Same sort of idea, but you just come up with a good point.
Yeah, I just think we've got to make sure when we do the wing for the rear bar, that we're not going to get too close to that hatch.
Yeah, so we
it's
probably
not
wouldn't
interfere.
Yeah, so we probably wouldn't want to take it past this body line realistically.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be easier to stay above that body line, above that black piece there.
And that would go all the way into where the wheel arch is, which looking at it here is about that long.
Yeah.
So I think that'll work better if we stayed above there.
Yeah, it'll look a lot neater as well, not going through any folds with the door.
Yeah, and it'll keep strength in there as well.
We're also doing rear bar and a side step. What are you thinking here? You said you had some different ideas.
Yeah, just a different sort of thing I've been thinking. So instead of like your traditional rock slider, thinking about doing a bit of like a folded up plate out of 5mm or something like that and making it look like more of a sidestep rather than a rock slider. But it'll still be a rock slider.
So it's like a stealth rock slider.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's probably suit the square car more as well.
I think it will suit the 70 quite well. And obviously we'll bring them all the way out to here as well. Might do it as an off-the-shelf item if they're quite quick and easy to build.
If you guys like the step, pressure Luke to make some.
Or George.
I'm looking forward to this. This is probably going to be one of the most exciting parts of the build is cutting into the side, getting these bits done and then finishing off the table as well.
Yeah, we need to get that sorted.
Let's have a look. Keep in mind, this is a prototype and it is a bit crude. Once it's finished, it'll be available for anyone to get as well, which is really cool. So before I show you the double table, I'll show you what's on this side. We've removed the basic trim and we've added this bit of metal, but it can hold a first aid kit perfectly in here. There is a particular hole in this door, which we utilize. I've seen many tables on the market, but none of them really offered what I've seen on Project Prado, which had a pull-out kitchen and had double table. So this is the double table idea that I came up with. And On Track Fabrication made it a reality. Now, keep in mind, I'm parked on an angle. And also keep in mind, this is a prototype. We have magnets holding the sides, and then what holds the weight is this bit of the frame pushes into the door. So you can put a fair bit of weight up here. Cook down here, prep up here, or this is kind of a bit more like a bar, have your drinks up here or whatever. We'll have a bit of a light in here. So it's not quite finished yet, but I just wanted to show you guys what we've started doing. This is going to be really cool when it's done. And best of all, it's so quick to open and so quick to close. Big improvements to come to these two things. Time for engine mods. These are the first engine mods we're doing to the Troopy. Back here with Trav. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a while. Diff breather kit, fuel filter kit.
And a catch can.
Catch can, all right.
DIY, you're going to fit them up today. Bit of supervision.
You're joking, right? So I'm doing all this?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
And you're the supervising now?
Yeah. Keep an eye on you. I've got the tools there.
Okay.
You got the car. We'll get into it.
I've got no problem with that, but we may not get to that if I'm doing DIY.
All yours, mate. I'm going to grab a coffee.
You coming back? Hey, which one of you guys stuck this on there? I noticed that a week ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That sticker. I don't know when it got there.
We have had a few workshop laughs about that. How long would it take? It's probably been on there 3 months.
Really?
No. How long ago did you put it on there?
The day after you bought the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you popped in to say, I don't know.
Cheeky bastards.
Snuck under there.
Yeah. I saw on that last post when you had the tailgate open, you could see it through the gap.
That's what I saw. Looking
Yeah,
for
did you?
Yeah. All right, so there it is, the new line going up there. Shiny black one. It's hard to see under here. One line here. Normally there is a diff breather line, but because I've got e-lockers, not factory lockers, there's only one line. So we're coming up over here. And I've got the one on the gearbox up there. It's the gearbox and transfer in one, coming down. And then we got the front diff, which is over here. That's the first one we looked at. Going down, following all this wiring and harness and brake lines, and then we're going up to the engine bay. Everything's zip tight, nice and secure. I left a little bit of slack on the back and the front here for a 2-inch lift later on, maybe a 3-inch. I don't know what I'm going to go yet. All right, I'll get Trav back from his coffee break and we'll get this vehicle down. Oh, there he is.
All done, mate.
Yeah, I'm all done. How's your coffee?
Oh, I haven't got my watch on. Yeah, good.
Do you want to have a look, inspect? These are the two old breathers. As you can see, they're quite short, hence why we're putting the extended diff breathers in, and they'll be pulled up into the engine bay very shortly. Before we finish off the breathers, we need to install the actual brackets for the fuel filtration system, because that's where the breathers terminate. This is a fuel filtration kit that we're installing to the Troopy. I think these are important because it's a pre-filter to your main filter, which means that if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you go to a dodgy fuel servo, which you can get around town as well, this is kind of like a preventative measurement. Filters it before it gets to the main filter. With this one here in particular, it has a water separation bowl as well. So any water that passes through this filter will drip down to the bottom because water is heavier than diesel. And you've got a little cock valve down here so you can drain it as well. So it's kind of like
an insurance policy for your vehicle. And that's why I'm putting it into the TROOPY as one of the first engine mods. The exact same kit I've got in the 79. It's been there for about 8.5 to 9 years and it's served well. And this is what the end product is going to look like once it's in the TROOPY. Brackets in, and this is the breathers that sits on top. You'll see a closer shot of that on your screen right now. It's time to put the fuel filter in, and let's address some questions here that I've been getting as well. So there have been a number of people saying that they experience fuel cavitation, so like fuel starvation.
Yep.
Now I've had this kit in my vehicle for 8.5 to 9 years in the 79, and I've never experienced that.
Key element, obviously, flow.
You put bigger barbs on these.
So the brass barbs in there with the ID, the internal diameter, it's quite large. Now I've just grabbed a fuel head off the display out the front. You'll see here, this one here's got quite small internal diameter, so that's going to reduce your flow. And obviously we've got our high flow barbs on here. So that's the difference. That's what's normally in most kits, and that's what's in ours that we're fitting today.
Just so people know, on the one we're fitting has got this size on both sides.
Correct.
Like that one.
We're coming from one side of the engine bay over to this side, so we want to keep the fuel hose at a 1/2 inch or 12.5 mil. Same thing with the barbs. However, we do run a 5 micron filter, so we want a finest filter possible.
That's the other thing people are saying, cavitation due to 5 micron, but I've always run 5 micron in the 79 to my knowledge, right? Because they're usually what I pick up and change. I've experienced no fuel starvation with my setup.
Look, if there's some seriously tuned vehicles out there that have a bigger fuel supply, may need a lift pump, but yeah, not with anything we've seen.
Inspection, please.
Light.
Now there is one cable tie I need to still chop off that didn't quite chew through.
Oh, just this wiring harness, we just got to put that.
Oh yeah, whoops, forgot about that. That's to the filter, yep.
All the way along there. It should be going to the metal pipe in the engine bay, down the bottom.
I did it right. I didn't even read the instructions.
You may proceed to the next level, sir.
All right, we're out of gear, you're all clear?
Go for it.
No way! First start. So I just want to introduce you to Travers, my apprentice here at Rhonda's Mechanical Services. And today we're installing one of those Do Not Disturb cards. That's what it looks like. We're now installing the HPD at the PDP, the catch can.
The catch can here, it's going to mount up under the bracket here, and then we're going to remove this hose here, which comes from the positive crankcase vent on the factory rocker cover. So we'll remove that, plumb it into the catch can. Out of the catch can, we're going to have the oil residue. See here, we've got the internal filters on the in and the out of the catch can. This is the storage capacity of the catch can as well. So obviously we don't need any longer hose like other catch cans on the market. We've got a little check dipstick, no longer have to pull it apart to check it. And there's no serviceable filters to change as well. Other catch cans, you're going to have a filter that's anywhere from $70 through to $80 odd that you need to change every time you service a catch can. Is going to add up in the service life of the vehicle. It's billet aluminium and not plastic, so that's why we use this guy. We've got some leftover bolts here.
What's that for?
They hold this on.
Oh, new bolts.
These, you're meant to do this.
Really? Oh, righto. Washers and
And yeah, reading the instructions.
Yeah, well, you just passed the test, so you found the problem. Good on you.
Oh, good on you.
There we go. We're all done. We're all done. So that's the protection package done. We've got the fuel filter, we've got the diff breathers, we've got the catch can. Ready for the next step, which will come later. I don't know, what should we do next? I think we need to change
I was going to
this.
say, yeah, air in, air out. Look at maybe the exhaust, the snorkel.
Definitely exhaust.
Filtration, that sort of thing. Big things obviously ticked off the protection side of things.
Yep.
So,
would you guys like to see straight pipe versus hot dog versus muffler? We should do that.
We'll talk about mods with the snorkels as well.
Should we do a snorkel forwards, a snorkel backwards, snorkel sideways?
Other mods you need to do with the snorkel. could look at that as well, what you don't see behind the scenes.
Okay, until next time, we'll go back to the workshop.
Put it there.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed this episode at stage 2 of the TROOPY mods. Now at stage 3, we may be cutting into the body, so stay tuned for that. I'm a little bit nervous, but I know I'm taking it to the right place. So let's see how we go. Until then,